Hello, my friend. Tonight, I want you to imagine something soft. Imagine that you are already sitting in a deep velvet seat. The fabric is worn and warm beneath you. Your shoulders are dropping. Your breath is slowing. In front of you, a large screen glows with gentle light. Not bright, just soft, like candlelight stretched wide across a wall. And somewhere far above, you can hear the quiet hum of a projector running, a sound like a cat purring. Steady, constant, asking nothing of you. You are inside an old cinema tonight. Not a modern one with stadium seating and digital screens, an old one. The kind that was built when movies were still called pictures, when going to the cinema was an event, when the seats were velvet and the curtains were heavy, when everything felt like it mattered a little more. You came here this afternoon. The snow had just begun to fall when you bought your ticket. Light flakes drifting down from a pale gray sky. Nothing to worry about. Just winter doing what winter does. You found a seat in the middle section. Watched the film. Let yourself disappear into someone else's story for a couple of hours. The way people have been doing in rooms like this for over a century. And when the credits rolled and the lights came up, you gathered your coat and walked toward the lobby. That is when you saw it through the tall windows. The snow was no longer drifting. It was falling fast and thick now, sideways, driven by a wind that had come up quietly while you were inside. The street outside had become a blur of white. The cars parked along the curb were already buried to their wheel wells. A winter storm, but muffled by the thick walls, distant, like something happening in a photograph. And here in the lobby, the radiators hummed beneath the windows. The smell of popcorn still lingered in the air. The Art Deco lamps cast their amber glow along the walls. You were already inside, already warm, already held. And then a voice. Well, that came faster than they said it would. An elderly man stepped out from behind the concession counter. He moved slowly, deliberately. The way people move when they have stopped rushing years ago. His cardigan was wool, burgundy, with buttons that did not quite match. His glasses sat slightly crooked on his nose. He looked out at the storm, then back at you. His eyes were calm. The roads will be closed for hours, he said. Maybe until morning. He paused. Let that settle. But you don't need to decide anything tonight. You don't need to go anywhere or do anything. The doors are locked. The heat is on. And this old cinema. He smiled. A small, quiet smile. This is what it was built for. Keeping people safe in the dark. He reached beneath the counter and pulled out something folded, a blanket. Wool, the color of moss, slightly worn at the edges. From the lost and found, he said. Freshly laundered, No one's come for it in over a year. I think it's been waiting for the right person." He set it on the counter, then turned to a small electric kettle behind him. It was already steaming. "And this," he said, pouring something into a paper cup, "is for the cold you didn't know you were still carrying." He slid the cup toward you. Hot cocoa. You could smell it before you touched it. Chocolate and something deeper. Vanilla, maybe. A hint of cinnamon. "Take your time with it," he said. Theater 1 is open. The seats recline, almost flat now. We added that a few years back. Easier on the back for long nights. He gave you one last nod, the kind that expected nothing in return. "I'll be up in the projection booth, going to run something gentle. You won't need anything, but I'll be there if you do." And then he turned and disappeared through a door marked "Staff Only." You heard his footsteps on stairs, then silence. And you were alone. Alone in the warm lobby of this old cinema. The storm outside, softened by brick and glass, unable to reach you. The night stretching ahead with nothing required of it. You looked down at the blanket, at the cup of cocoa warming your hands, and you walked toward Theater 1. The doors to the theater were heavy. Dark wood with brass handles, worn smooth from decades of hands pushing through. You pressed one open and stepped inside. And stopped. The theater stretched out before you like a room made for dreaming. Rows and rows of velvet seats. Deep red, curved in a gentle arc toward the screen. The ceiling rose high above, painted with stars and clouds that had faded to soft pastels over the years. Along the walls, Art Deco sconces cast pools of amber light, just bright enough to see by. The screen at the far end was dark for now, a vast rectangle of silver gray waiting. And the room was empty. Completely, perfectly empty. Just you and hundreds of velvet seats and the quiet hum of the building settling around you. You began to walk down the center aisle. The carpet beneath your feet was thick. It swallowed your footsteps, turned them into whispers. You could feel the plush give way with each step. Soft and forgiving. On either side, the seats waited in patient rows. You let your hand trail along the armrests as you passed. The velvet was cool at first, then warmed to your touch. Some seats had small brass numbers on them. Others had lost their numbers long ago, just shadows where the metal used to be. You passed a row with a slight dip in one seat, someone's favorite spot, perhaps. Someone who came here every week for years, always choosing the same place. The velvet remembered them, the way old things remember. The screen grew larger as you approached. Up close, you could see its texture. Not smooth like modern screens. This one had a faint weave to it, like fabric, like something made by hands. You turned and looked back at the empty theater. All those seats, all that velvet, all that space. Tonight, it was yours. The snow had closed the roads. The storm had emptied the streets. And you had happened to be here, inside, when the world decided to pause. You chose a section in the middle, not too close to the screen, not too far. The spot that everyone searches for but rarely gets when the theater is full. Tonight, you could have any seat you wanted. You slid into a row, tried the first seat, sat down. The velvet exhaled beneath you, comfortable, but something did not feel quite right. You stood, moved 2 seats over, tried again, better, but still not perfect. You smiled to yourself. How long since you had the luxury of choosing, of trying and adjusting and finding exactly what you wanted without anyone waiting? Finally, you found it. Row J, seat 7. Right in the center, the screen perfectly framed before you, the speakers balanced on either side. This was your seat. You sat down. And this time, you stayed. The velvet embraced you. Not just held you, embraced you, the way only old, well-worn furniture can. The seat knew the shape of rest. It had been teaching itself for decades. You folded the armrest down beside you. It clicked softly into place. A small, satisfying sound. You reached down to the side and found a small lever. Pulled it, and the seat began to recline. Slowly, smoothly, the back tilting away, the footrest rising to meet your legs. Not quite flat, but close. Close enough that the word seat no longer felt accurate. This was something between a chair and a bed, a nest made of velvet and springs. Made of years of holding tired people. You settled deeper, and something in your body understood. Your shoulders lowered, not because you told them to, because there was nothing left to hold up. Your jaw softened. Your teeth parted slightly, no longer pressing together. Your hands came to rest on the armrests, fingers uncurling. You had been carrying tension you did not even know was there. And now, in this velvet cradle, it began to dissolve, quietly, gently, without effort. You reached for the blanket, unfolded it, drew it up over your legs, then higher, over your stomach, over your chest. The wool was heavier than it looked, but not heavy in a way that pressed. Heavy in a way that held. It smelled like the cinema, like this room, like 100 other quiet nights. Nights when someone else had wrapped themselves in its warmth and let the world grow small. Now it was yours. On the armrest beside you, A small paper bag waited. Popcorn. You had taken some from the machine in the lobby on your way through. The old man had nodded toward it. Help yourself. It's better when it's shared, but it's still good alone. You lifted the bag. The paper crinkled softly under your fingers. The scent of warm butter rose up, mixing with the wool and velvet and old wood. You did not eat. Not yet. Maybe later. Maybe not at all. For now, it was enough just to have it there. A small companion, a familiar comfort. And in the cup holder beside you, the cocoa waited. Still warm. The cup the old man had pressed into your hands before he left. You lifted it. Let the last of the heat reach your palms. You brought it close. Breathed in. Chocolate, vanilla, that hint of something spiced, a drink that tasted the way this room felt. You sipped. The warmth slid down your throat, spread through your chest, reached outward toward your fingers, your toes, the soft space behind your eyes. Another sip. You were not cold anymore. You were not tense anymore. You were not waiting for anything or rushing toward anything. You were just here, in a velvet seat that had learned how to hold people, under a wool blanket that had learned how to warm them, in a room that was built for exactly this, making the world outside disappear for a little while. Above you, somewhere in the ceiling, you heard a soft click, then a gentle whir. The projector was starting. The lights in the theater began to dim. Slowly, so slowly you almost did not notice at first. The amber sconces along the walls faded to a soft glow, then softer still, then finally to darkness. Somewhere at the edges of the room, heavy curtains swayed, a soft whisper of velvet settling. The red velvet seats around you disappeared into shadow. The painted ceiling with its stars and clouds became invisible. The whole room seemed to shrink and expand at the same time, becoming both smaller and infinite. And then the screen came alive. Not with a burst of light, with a gentle awakening. A slow bloom of silver gray that spread from the center outward until the entire screen was glowing. You felt your body sink deeper into the velvet. Slowly, softly, steadily. As if the dimming lights had given your muscles permission to release one more layer. To let go of something they had been holding without you even knowing. Your eyelids grew heavier, just slightly, just enough to notice. Above you, the projector hummed its quiet song, that gentle mechanical lull, that steady breath of turning reels. It filled the darkness like white noise, like rain on a distant roof. like a sound that had always been there and always would be. On the screen, images began to move. You did not try to follow them. You did not need to. There were shapes, colors, light shifting from blue to gold to something in between. There may have been people moving, speaking, living out a story, but their words did not reach you as words. They reached you as murmurs, as the sound of voices in another room, familiar and distant at the same time. The music was soft, not a melody you recognized, just notes, piano, perhaps. Strings so gentle they seemed to float rather than play. Music that did not ask you to listen, only to let it exist somewhere nearby. You watched the light change on the screen. Or maybe you did not watch. Maybe you just let it happen. Let the colors wash over your closed eyelids. Let the shadows dance on the ceiling you could no longer see. It did not matter what the film was about. It did not matter who the characters were, or what they wanted, or whether they found it. What mattered was this: a velvet seat holding you in an empty cinema, a blanket wrapped around you, warm from your own body heat, the storm somewhere far outside, unable to reach you, a cup of cocoa beside you, no longer hot, but still sweet. And on a screen the size of a dream, light moving in gentle patterns, asking nothing of your mind. This was all that existed. This room, this chair, this moment. The projector hummed on. The light shifted and swirled, and you began to drift. Not sleeping, not yet, just floating, somewhere between watching and dreaming. Somewhere between here and there. Your thoughts came slower now. Fragments rather than sentences. Images rather than ideas. A face you knew, a place you had been, a feeling without a name. They did not stick. They did not ask to be examined. They simply passed through, like the light on the screen, like the music in the air, like the snow falling outside in a world that felt very far away. You let them go, one by one, like credits rolling at the end of a film. Names you would not remember. Words you did not need to read. Just movement, just light. Just the gentle passage of something coming to its close. The screen has grown softer now. Or maybe your eyes have. It is hard to tell the difference anymore. The light and the dark have blurred together into something that is neither. Something that simply is. The projector still hums above you. That faithful sound, that patient breath. It has been running all this time, asking nothing, giving everything. You are not sure if the film is still playing or if it has ended and started again. It does not matter. The sound is what matters. The sound is what holds you here. Your breathing has slowed. You notice it the way you notice a clock ticking in an empty room, not with effort, just with awareness. Your chest rises, falls, rises, falls. A rhythm that has been with you since before you could remember. A rhythm that will carry you through the night. The blanket is warm from your body now. You cannot tell where it ends and you begin. It has become part of you, part of this moment, part of the velvet, the darkness, the gentle light still flickering somewhere in your field of vision. The cocoa cup sits empty beside you. Or maybe there is still a little left at the bottom. It does not matter. You do not need to reach for it. You do not need to reach for anything. Everything you need is already here. The warmth, the weight, the sound of the projector like a lullaby made of light. Somewhere far away, beyond the thick walls and the heavy curtains, the storm continues. You can almost picture it. The snow piling softly against the doors of the cinema, the wind moving down the empty street, muffled and distant. Like a sound heard through deep water. But it cannot reach you. The brick is too thick. The velvet absorbs too much. The projector hums too steadily. And here, there is only stillness. And here, there is only you and the darkness and the soft glow of a screen that has been showing dreams to people for longer than you have been alive. You think about them sometimes. All the people who have sat in this seat before you. All the films they have watched. All the nights they have spent here. Sheltered from rain or snow or simply from the noise of their own thoughts. The seat remembers them. You can feel it. Not in any way you could explain, just a knowing. A sense that this velvet has held many bodies, many breaths, many slow surrenders into sleep. And now it holds you. And it will hold you all night long. The old man upstairs has done this before. He knows how to keep the projector running. He knows how to keep the heat on. He knows that some nights, the kindest thing you can do for someone is simple. A dark room, a soft seat, permission to disappear for a while. He will not wake you. He will not check on you. He will simply let the film run, let the projector hum, let the night pass in its own time. And in the morning, the storm will have cleared, the roads will have opened. You will wake slowly, gently. The way you wake from the best kind of sleep. You will fold the blanket neatly. Place it back in the basket by the counter where it belongs. You will walk out through the lobby, past the concession stand, past the old posters in their brass frames. And when you push open the door, the world will be white and clean and quiet. A new day. A fresh start. Everything softened, everything still. But that is hours away. That is tomorrow's story. Tonight, there is only this. The velvet holding you. The blanket warming you. The screen glowing its gentle glow. The projector humming its endless song, and the snow falling outside, wrapping the world in white, keeping the night quiet beyond these walls, giving you the rarest of gifts. A night with no demands, a night with no decisions. A night where the only thing asked of you is to close your eyes and let go. So let go. Let your eyelids fall. Let your thoughts dissolve like the credits rolling on a screen. Let your body sink deeper into the velvet, deeper into the warmth, deeper into the kind of rest you have been needing for longer than you knew. The cinema will keep watch. The projector will keep humming. The storm will keep the world at bay. And you will sleep, safe in the dark, wrapped in wool and velvet and the quiet hum of something old and kind. Good night, my friend. The screen fades to black, and you fade with it into rest, into peace, into the gentlest night you have had in a long, long time. Sleep well. And if these quiet nights bring you comfort, you are always welcome to return.